Listen to me. Success is not for the lazy. It's not for the comfortable. It's not for the ones who do it sometimes. Success is for the obsessed. You gotta eat it, sleep it, breathe it. You want it bad, then act like it. Be obsessed. Listen to me. If you wanna be great, you gotta stop playing games with your future. You've gotta stop being casual about your destiny. You've gotta stop hoping it works out and start working like your life depends on it, because it does. You wanna be successful? You wanna do something they said you couldn't do? Then you gotta get obsessed. Oh, I'm talking about the kind of obsession that wakes you up in the middle of the night thinking about your goals. The kind of obsession that has you skipping parties, turning off the TV, and grinding while everyone else is sleeping. Obsession is not extra. Obsession is the price of greatness. Everybody wants to be successful, but very few people are willing to pay the cost. They want the lifestyle, but they don't want the discipline. They want the rewards, but they don't want the responsibility. Let me tell you something. Greatness doesn't go on sale. It's not sitting on sale. It's not sitting on the clearance rack waiting for you to feel like going after it. If you want to rise above average, if you want to dominate in your field, if you want to build something that lasts, you've got to put your whole soul into it. That's obsession. That's doing it when you're tired. That's showing up even when nobody's clapping. That's grinding with tears in your eyes and pain in your chest, because you know the mission is bigger than the moment. You think Kobe was great just because he had talent? You think Serena, Jordan, Beyonce, Elon, or whoever inspires you got there by being casual? No, they were obsessed. They weren't clocking in and out like it was a job. It was their life. They didn't dabble in it. They dove head first into it. And that's what you gotta do. You can't be 1 foot in and 1 foot out. You can't say you want it and then keep making excuses for why you haven't achieved it yet. You can't keep blaming people, your past, your circumstances. The truth is, if you're not obsessed with your dream, it'll never come true. Not because it's not possible, but because you didn't chase it hard enough. Some people think obsession is unhealthy. They say you need balance. You need to live a little. But listen to me, balance is for people who are okay with average. Balance is for people who want to live a life that looks good on the outside, but feels empty on the inside. If your dream is big, if your vision is massive, you don't have time to take it easy. You don't have time to keep checking your phone every 5 minutes. You don't have time to keep waiting for the perfect moment. You gotta be obsessed. You gotta want it so bad that it becomes a part of who you are. You breathe it, you live it, you live it. You fight for it like it's your only shot, because it is. When you're obsessed, you stop negotiating with your goals. You don't hit the snooze button. You don't complain about how hard it is. You embrace the grind. You welcome the pain. Why? Because you know pain is temporary, but legacy is forever. You're not looking for comfort. You're looking for greatness. You're not trying to fit in. You're trying to stand out. You're not chasing people's approval. You're chasing your purpose. That's the difference between those who win and those who wish. The winners made a decision to go all in. The winners said, no more excuses, no more distraction. I'm obsessed with this, and I'm not stopping until it's done. And let me be clear, it's going to get lonely. Everybody's not going to understand you. Your friends may fall off. Your family might not get it, but that's okay. That's the cost. That's what comes with choosing greatness over comfort. While they're playing, you're building. While they're sleeping, you're studying. While they're quitting, you're pushing harder. And eventually that obsession starts to separate you, starts to show. Your work ethic becomes undeniable. Your results become impossible to ignore. People start asking, how did you do it? And the answer will always be the same. I was obsessed. So don't let anyone water down your intensity. Don't let them shame you for how hard you go. Let them talk. Let them doubt. Let them laugh. Because when it's all said and done, they'll be watching from the sidelines while you're living the life you built. One late night at a time. One sacrifice at a time. One obsessed move at a time. You want greatness? Stop playing with it. Be obsessed. Everybody out here trying to play it safe, trying to fit in, trying to do just enough to get by. But let me tell you something. The world doesn't remember average. The world doesn't write books about the ones who kind of wanted it. The world doesn't put up statues for the ones who did just enough. The ones who make noise, the ones who leave legacy, the ones who change history, those are the obsessed ones. The world respects the obsessed, not the average. You gotta stop trying to be liked and start trying to be remembered. Think about it. Every name you know, every name that comes up when we talk about greatness was once just a regular person. But what made them different? It wasn't talent alone. It wasn't resources or luck. It was that fire, that drive, that insane level of hunger that said, I'm not leaving this earth without making an impact. They were obsessed. They didn't care if they looked weird. They didn't care if people didn't understand them. And they sure didn't care about being average. Average doesn't change the world. Obsession does. When you walk into a room, people should feel your energy before you even say a word. They should see it in your eyes that you're not like the rest, that you don't settle, that you don't fold, that you came to conquer. But that kind of presence doesn't come from trying. It comes from obsession. It comes from day after day, showing up when no one's watching, doing the work when there's no applause, staying focused when distractions are everywhere. That's how the obsessed move. They're not chasing fame. They're chasing legacy. They're not motivated by likes. They're driven by purpose. And look, people will call you crazy. They'll say you're doing too much. They'll say you need to slow down, relax, live a little. But what they don't understand is this. When you're truly obsessed, this is living. Chasing the dream is joy. Building something meaningful is the reward. You don't need weekends off because your mission doesn't have a clock in and clock out. You don't need constant validation because you already know what you're here to do. You don't need people to understand your grind. They're not supposed to. They're not on your level. It's easy to talk big when everything's going well. It's easy to be hyped when you're getting results. But obsession shows up even when the lights are off, when you're broke, when you're tired, when you fail 5 times in a row. Obsession says, let's go again. Obsession says, I don't care what it looks like right now. I know what's coming. That's why the world eventually stands up and claps for the obsessed, because they didn't quit. They didn't water it down. They didn't compromise. They just kept showing up, kept getting better, and kept proving everybody wrong. And I need you to understand something. The world is full of average thinking, average dreams, but you weren't built for that. If you're reading this, if you're listening to this message right now, it's because there's something inside you screaming to break out. And it's not screaming for average. It's screaming for greatness, for excellence, for something that will last long after you're gone. But that only comes to those who are willing to be different, to go harder, to push further, to be obsessed. Some of you are worried about what people will think if you go all in. You're worried they'll jew, they'll laugh. Let them. Because while they're watching you, they're not building anything of their own. While they're mocking your obsession, you're putting in the reps. You're learning the skills. You're stacking wins. And one day they'll be forced to watch you win. And they'll remember the moment they doubted you. But you won't care because you'll be too focused on the next mountain you're about to climb. You've got to flip the switch. No more playing small. No more second guessing. No more trying to be liked by people who wouldn't understand your vision even if you drew it for them. Drew it for them. You're not here to please. You're here to dominate. You're here to make your name echo in rooms you haven't even stepped into yet. And the only way that happens is if you get obsessed. Not interested. Not a kind of committed. Obsessive. The type of obsession that consumes you, shapes you, transforms you into someone they can't ignore. The world doesn't need more average. The world needs more fire. More people who are willing to go the distance. More people who are tired of playing small. More people who don't just talk about their dreams, but chase them with everything they've got. Be one of those people. Be the reason the next generation believes it's possible. Be obsessed. You can't casually pursue purpose. You can't tiptoe into your call and expect to walk into greatness. Purpose isn't something you stumble upon by accident. It's something you chase down with everything inside of you. Too many people say they want it, but they treat it like it's an option. They treat their dream like a hobby. They put it second to everything else in life, like it'll wait for them. But purpose doesn't wait. Purpose requires urgency. It demands a level of focus, intensity, that drive that casual effort will never produce. If you want to live the life you were created for, you can't take it lightly. You've got to go after it like it's your oxygen. Like if you don't breathe it, you suffocate. Because let me tell you something, there will be days where it gets hard, days where nobody claps for you, days where it feels like nothing's working. And on those days, your kind of commitment won't hold up. Casual pursuit falls apart when life punches you in the mouth. But when you're chasing your purpose with everything you've got, you don't fold, you fight harder. You don't retreat, you double down. That's what separates the ones who just talk about success from the ones who live it. You can't walk into your future with yesterday's mindset. You can't chase your destiny while dragging your feet. You have to go all in. That means early mornings, late nights, missing out on things that don't align with your vision. It means saying no to comfort and yeah, to consistency. And yeah, it means you're going to feel different from everyone around you. When you've got a calling, you don't move like the crowd. You don't operate on average energy. You don't take weekends off from your dream. You don't take days off from your purpose. You go at it like it's the only thing that matters because it is. Don't let the world convince you to slow down. Don't let your friends talk you into playing small. If they don't understand the fire in you, that's fine. It's not their fire to carry. Stop expecting average people to understand your extraordinary purpose. If they don't see it, it's because it wasn't given to them. It was given to you. And if you're going to fulfill it, you've got to treat it with the weight it deserves. You've got to respect your own purpose enough to go all in. Not sometimes, not when it's easy. Every single day. You don't get to skip the process. There's no shortcut. You can't wish your way into greatness. You've got to work. You got to grind. You got to be so locked in that quitting doesn't even cross your mind. Because when you're walking in your purpose, there's no backup plan. There's no, well, maybe it'll work. There's only do the work until it works. There's only fight until the breakthrough. If you approach your dream with half effort, you'll get half results. But when you chase it with obsession, with urgency, with everything you've got, you unlock a level of success most people will never experience. This isn't about impressing people. This isn't about proving anything to the doubters. This is about honoring the gift inside you. This is about becoming who you were born to be. If you keep treating your purpose like it's second tier, it's going to keep slipping away. Every day you waste with excuses is a day you could have been building something powerful. Every moment you spend distracted is a moment you could have used to move closer to your destiny. You have to decide, do you want to look back on your life full of regret? Or do you want to be the one who said, try, gave it everything I had? There's power in being all in. There's clarity that comes when you stop playing games with your future. When you get serious, really serious, things start to shift. Opportunities show up. Opportunities show up. People take notice. Doors open, not because you're consistent, because you stayed in the fight long enough for the world to recognize your purpose. That's the reward of going all in. That's the fruit of not being casual. You gotta get to a point where you're tired of being stuck, tired of the cycle, tired of starting and stopping, tired of almost. When that switch flips, when you decide that your purpose is worth your life, everything changes. You stop talking about what you're gonna do and start doing it. You stop dreaming about what could be and start creating it. You stop comparing yourself to others and start competing with the version of you that stayed afraid. You were not built for casual. You were not made to be average. You were born for something bigger, something greater, but you got to chase it with urgency. You got to pursue it like your time is running out because it is. No more delays, no more half effort, no more waiting for the right time. The time is now. Purpose doesn't show up for the passive, it shows up for the obsessed. You can have all the talent in the world, all the potential, all the ambition, but if you're standing around waiting for support, you're going to be standing there a long time. Too many people think they need someone to validate them before they can take action. They wait for approval. They wait for encouragement. They wait for someone to cheer them on. But here's the truth. Nobody owes you support. Nobody owes you belief. And if you keep waiting for someone to push you, you'll never take that first step. Sometimes the people closest to you won't understand your vision. Sometimes they won't believe in your dream until you make it real. That's not because they're against you. It's because it's not their dream. It was given to you. So don't wait for applause. Don't wait for the crowd. Don't wait for someone to carry you. Start walking, start working, start building. Do it without support. There will be moments when you're out there grinding alone. No one calling to check on you. No one asking how it's going. No one's celebrating your small victories, and it's in those moments that you're tested. That's when you find out what you're made of. Because anybody can push when someone's watching. Anybody can go hard when they're being praised. But when you're in the dark, when there's no spotlight, when no one even knows your name yet, can you still go hard? Can you still wake up and grind when the only voice you hear is your own? That's the difference between winners and everyone else. Winners don't need the crowd. They don't need permission. They don't need someone telling them they're doing a good job. They're fueled by purpose, not by praise. There's a level of hunger that be taught. It has to be built. You build it in silence. You build it when nobody's clapping. You build it when you're working late nights while others are partying. You build it when you're sacrificing sleep, comfort, and fun because you believe in what you're chasing. And sometimes you'll have to be your own cheerleader. You'll have to be the one to say, keep going. You'll have to speak life into your own grind, your own journey. Because if you always need external validation, you'll never learn to stand on your own. You'll be dependent. You'll be fragile. And the first time people don't support you, you'll fall apart. Real warriors don't need a fan club. They just need a mission. They wake up, lace their shoes, and get to work. They aren't waiting for someone to pat them on the back. They're too busy chasing the goal. And eventually, people will notice. Eventually, the results will speak so loud that nobody can ignore them. But until then, you have to be okay with being overlooked. You have to be okay with being misunderstood. You have to be okay with being doubted. That's part of the process. That's the price of vision. Because when you have a dream that's bigger than you, it's going to scare people. It's going to make them uncomfortable. That some people won't support you. Not because you can't do it, but because they couldn't see themselves doing. Their fear has nothing to do with your future. You can't let that stop you. You can't let that shrink you. You have to decide that your vision is worth the loneliness. Your goals are worth the grind. You have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable Because if you can push through the season of silence, the season of solitude, the season of doing it without support, then you'll become unshakable. You'll become unstoppable. You'll no longer be controlled by who's watching, who's clapping, or who's liking your posts. You'll be driven by something deeper, conviction. And that kind of fire can't be put out. So stop looking around for someone to push you. Stop waiting on a team to believe in you before you believe in yourself. Be your own team. Be your own motivation. Build your own momentum. Start with what you have, where you are. No excuses, no delays, no hesitation. Because at the end of the day, this is your dream, your life, your mission. And if you won't fight for it, watch anyone else. The truth is, most of the time, you'll have to walk alone before you're celebrated. You'll have to grind in the shadows before the spotlight comes. You'll have to build with your own two hands before anyone lends a hand. That's okay. That's part of the story. And one day, when the dream is real and the results are visible, those same people who ignored you will ask how you did it. And you'll look them in the eye and say, I did it without support. I did it because I believe. I did it when no one else did. And that's what makes the journey beautiful. You didn't wait. You started. You didn't depend. You decided. You didn't fold. You finished, all without support. There will be days when your body aches, your mind is tired, and your heart feels heavy. You'll be overwhelmed, frustrated, burned out. The thought of giving up will seem easier than the pain of pushing through. Your energy will be gone. Your hope might feel low. And everything in you will beg you to stop, to quit, to rest or just for today. But that's the moment that separates average from great. That's the moment when the winners are made. Because discipline isn't forged in easy time. It's forged in fire, in the struggle. In those moments when giving up seems logical, but you fight anyway. That fight, that choice to keep going is where you build toughness. That's where you build the version of yourself that doesn't break under pressure. Pain is part of the process. Nobody gets to success without experiencing pain. Pain is a test, it's a question. It asks, do you want the goal bad enough to push through this discomfort? Do you want to succeed bad enough to endure the tears, the setbacks, the long nights? Everybody says they want it when it's comfortable, but when it's hard, when life starts swinging, that's when we see who really wants it. Some people tap out, some people pause, but the rare ones, they keep swinging, they keep moving. They don't stop because it's hard. They grind harder because it's hard. Because they understand that pain is a signal that growth is near. Oh, that the obstacle isn't in the way. It is the way. You don't need everything to be perfect. You don't need to feel 100%. You just need the decision to keep going. That's how you win. Not by being the strongest or the smartest, or by refusing to quit. When you learn to move forward, even when your legs are shaking, when you're tired, when you feel like crying, that's when you unlock your potential. You train your mind to obey your mission, not your mood. You teach yourself to prioritize progress over comfort. And slowly you become someone unstoppable. Not because life got easier, but because you got stronger. There will be voices inside your head telling you to stop, telling you it's too hard, too heavy, too much. Those voices are lying. They're the voice of fear, fatigue, of doubt. And your job is to rise above them, to answer them with action. You don't have to feel strong to be strong. You just have to keep moving. You just have to take the next step. That's it. Not the whole journey, just the next step. And the moment you choose to take that step, even through the pain, you've already won a battle that most people lose. Most people stop when it hurts. Most people slow down when it gets tough, but not you. You're different. You do it anyway. You won't always see the payoff right away. You won't always feel the benefits in real time. But every time you act in spite of pain, you're planting seeds. You're investing in your future self. One day you'll look back and realize that the strength you have came from those hard moments. That confidence, it came from those days when you didn't quit. That resilience, it was built in the pain. That grit, that edge, that came from you showing up when everything in you said stay down. Pain is temporary, but quitting is permanent. If you stop, if you fold, you have to live with that decision. But if you fight through even just one more step, one more rep, one more page, one more day, that builds pride, that builds belief, that builds momentum. And once you understand that momentum is more valuable than motivation, you stop hesitating. You stop questioning, you just act. Question and action over time rewrites your identity. You stop being someone who it tries and become someone who it does. You stop being someone who would start and become someone who it finishes. That shit that happens in the pain, in the discomfort, in the decision to keep going when everything in you is screaming or quit. Nobody is born mentally tough. Mental toughness is built like a muscle. You build it by lifting heavy mental weight, by doing hard things consistently, by showing up when you don't feel like it. Every time you do, you're growing stronger. You're becoming more powerful, not because the pain went away, but because you learned to move through it. So the next time you're tired, the next time your body hurts, the next time your mind said, oh, let's take the day off. Remember who you are. Remember why you started. Remember what's waiting for you on the other side of this battle. You didn't come this far to fold. You didn't sacrifice this much to quit. You didn't endure all the pain of your past just to stop here. Push through, get up, move forward, don't stop now, do it, enjoy. There will be days when your body aches, your mind is tired, and your heart feels heavy. You'll be overwhelmed, frustrated, burned out. The thought of giving up will seem easier than the pain of pushing through. Your energy will be gone. Your hope might feel low. And everything in you will beg you to stop, to quit, to rest or just for today. But that's the moment that separates average from great. That's the moment when the winners are made. Because discipline isn't forged in easy time. It's forged in fire, in the struggle. In those moments when giving up seems logical, but you fight anyway. That fight, that choice to keep going is where you build toughness. That's where you build the version of yourself that doesn't break under pressure. Pain is part of the process. Nobody gets to success without experiencing pain. Pain is a test, it's a question. It asks, do you want the goal bad enough to push through this discomfort? Do you want to succeed bad enough to endure the tears, the setbacks, the long nights? Everybody says they want it when it's comfortable, but when it's hard, when life starts swinging, that's when we see who really wants it. Some people tap out, some people pause, but the rare ones, they keep swinging, they keep moving. They don't stop because it's hard. They grind harder because it's hard, because they understand that pain is a signal that growth is near. Oh, that the obstacle isn't in the way. It is the way. You don't need everything to be perfect. You don't need to feel 100%. You just need the decision to keep going. That's how you win. Not by being the strongest or the smartest, or by refusing to quit. When you learn to move forward, even when your legs are shaking, when you're tired, when you feel like crying, that's when you unlock your potential. You train your mind to obey your mission, not your mood. You teach yourself to prioritize progress over comfort. And slowly you become someone unstoppable, not because life got easier, but because you got stronger. There will be voices inside your head telling you to stop, telling you it's too hard, too heavy, too much. Those voices are lying. They're the voice of fear, fatigue, of doubt. And your job is to rise above them, to answer them with action. You don't have to feel strong to be strong. You just have to keep moving. You just have to take the next step. That's it. Not the whole journey, just the next step. And the moment you choose to take that step, even through the pain, you've already won a battle that most people lose. Most people stop when it hurts. Most people slow down when it gets tough, but not you. You're different. You do it anyway. You won't always see the payoff right away. You won't always feel the benefits in real time. But every time you act in spite of pain, you're planting seeds. You're investing in your future self. One day you'll look back and realize that the strength you have came from those hard moments. That confidence, it came from those days when you didn't quit. That resilience, it was built in the pain. That grit, that edge, that came from you showing up when everything in you said stay down. Pain is temporary, but quitting is permanent. If you stop, if you fold, you have to live with that decision. But if you fight through even just one more step, one more rep, one more page, one more day, that builds pride, that builds belief, that builds momentum. And once you understand that momentum is more valuable than motivation, you stop hesitating. You stop questioning, you just act. Question and action over time rewrites your identity. You stop being someone who it tries and become someone who it does. You stop being someone who it starts and become someone who it finishes. That shit that happens in the pain, in the discomfort, in the decision to keep going when everything in you is screaming or quit. Nobody is born mentally tough. Mental toughness is built like a muscle. You build it by lifting heavy mental weight, by doing hard things consistently, by showing up when you don't feel like it. Every time you do, you're growing stronger. You're becoming more powerful, not because the pain went away, but because you learned to move through it. So the next time you're tired, the next time your body hurts, the next time your mind said, oh, let's take the day off. Remember who you are. Remember why you started. Remember what's waiting for you on the other side of this battle. You didn't come this far to fold. You didn't sacrifice this much to quit. You didn't endure all the pain of your past just to stop here. Push through, get up, move forward, don't stop now, do it anyway. Every single person you admire, every champion, every success story, every legend, they all had moments when they felt fear, when they had doubt, when quitting would have been the easy way out. But what set them apart is this: they moved forward anyway. They didn't let fear define them. They didn't let pain stop them. They didn't wait until things were perfect or until they had everything figured out. They kept going. They kept grinding. They kept grinding. They kept showing up even when the results weren't there. That's the hardest part, showing up when you're not winning, grinding when you're not getting noticed. Staying focused when it feels like nothing is working. We live in a world that wants fast results. Everybody wants the spotlight without the struggle. Everybody wants the trophy without the training. But that's not real. That's not real. That's not how life works. The truth is, real results come slowly, quietly. They come when nobody's looking, when nobody's clapping, when it's just you, your grind, and your commitment. Some days it will feel like all your hard work is pointless. You'll be tired of pouring your energy into something that seems invisible. You'll question if it's worth it. You'll wonder why nothing is changing. You'll start comparing yourself to others who seem to be ahead. That's when the doubt creeps in. That's when the excuses start sounding reasonable. That's when most people quit. But you can. Because every great breakthrough is hidden behind a season of unseen effort. Every powerful result is the outcome of consistent, disciplined work that didn't look like it was working at first. You have to understand it. Just because you can't see the progress doesn't mean it's happening. Just because nobody's praising you doesn't mean you're not growing. Just because you haven't reached the goal yet doesn't mean you're failing. The seed you planted is still underground, but it's growing. Slowly, silently, and it needs time. But most people never give it time. They quit before the roots take hold. They stop watering it because they don't see a tree. But that's not how growth works. The grind always comes before the glory. What you're building right now might not look like much on the surface, but underneath, you're developing strength. You're building discipline. You're proving to yourself that your actions are not dependent on applause, that your consistency isn't based on feelings, that your purpose is stronger than your emotions. Every time you wake up and do the work without seeing instant results, you're winning a battle inside yourself. You're building the kind of mindset that can't be shaken because it doesn't rely on what it sees. It relies on what it knows. And what you know is this: results don't always show up when you want, but they always come to those who keep showing up. Sometimes the process is slow because it's preparing you. Sometimes the delay is not a denial, it's a test. Life wants to see if you're really committed. If you're still willing to work when the hype is gone. If you still believe in your dream when it's just a dream and not a reality yet. Anybody can be excited on day one. But what about day 91 when the work is boring? What about day 151 when you fail more than you succeeded? That's where champions are built. Not in the beginning when it's exciting. Not at the end when it's rewarding. But in the middle when it's tough, slow, and thankless. And listen, it's not about doing everything perfectly. It's not about crushing every task every day. It's about staying in the game. It's about refusing to back down. It's about doing anything that moves you forward. Some days you'll run. Some days you'll crawl. But as long as you're moving, you're not losing. The only real failure is giving up. The only real defeat is quitting before the results can catch up to your effort. You've got to trust the process. You've got to trust yourself. You've got to understand that the universe rewards persistence, that every ounce of energy you put in matters, that every rep, every word, every hour, every sacrifice is all building something bigger than what you can see right now. And one day when the results finally show up, everyone will act surprised. They'll call you lucky. They'll say you came out of nowhere, but you'll know the truth. You'll know how many silent, lonely, difficult days you pushed through. You'll know how long you kept showing up when nothing was showing up for you. So if today feels like a waste, if the grind feels invisible, if the results aren't there yet, do it anyway. Keep going, keep pushing, keep trusting. The results are on their way, and when they arrive, they'll reflect the work you kept doing when nobody else believed. But you did. There will be days when you don't feel motivated, days when the alarm goes off and you just want to roll over. Days when your body is tired, your mind is foggy, and your heart feels like it's got nothing left to give. And on those days, you'll have a choice. Give in to how you feel, or do it anyway. Because greatness doesn't care about your feelings. Success isn't built on moods. It's built on discipline. It's built on showing up when every part of you says don't. You're not going to feel like it every day. Nobody does. That's a myth. That's what people on the outside think. They think the people at the top are always hungry, always driven, always excited to work. But that's not the truth. The truth is they feel the same resistance you do. The only difference is they act anyway. They move anyway. They grind even when they don't feel the fire. Because they know the fire doesn't start by waiting, it starts by doing. Action first, motivation second. You can't wait to feel inspired. You can't sit around hoping that energy will come. If you wait on motivation, you'll be waiting your whole life. You have to move first. You have to show yourself that you're serious, even on your worst day. Because when you act in spite of your feelings, you gain power over them. You teach your body that it listens to your mind, not the other way around. And let's be honest, feelings are liars. One minute they lift you up, the next they drag you down. They change with the weather, with sleep, with your environment. That's why you can't trust them. You can acknowledge them, sure, but never let them lead. If you let feelings lead, you'll never build anything that lasts. But when discipline leads, that's when momentum builds. That's when breakthroughs happen. That's when consistency creates success. You have to understand that excellence is not about how you feel. It's about what you do. If you only work hard when you feel great, you'll never be consistent. And if you're not consistent, you won't win, period. The greats don't rise because they're always energized. They rise because they've trained themselves to act no matter what. They built routines so strong that even when the mood disappears, the mission remains. You know how many champions practiced when they were in pain, how many entrepreneurs built businesses while battling stress, anxiety, even depression. You know how many artists kept creating when nobody was clapping. They didn't feel like it, but they did it anyway. Because they weren't chasing feelings, they were chasing purpose. Your dream deserves that same loyalty. Not loyalty to convenience, not loyalty to how you feel in the moment, but loyalty to your why. The reason you started, the future you're building. Because feelings come and go, but your why, that's permanent. That's what you hold on to when the motivation fades. That's what pulls you forward when your legs don't want to move. That's what lifts your head when your heart is low. And here's the secret. When you do it anyway, even when you don't feel like it, you build something inside that's bigger than motivation. You build grit, you build identity, you prove to yourself that you are not a slave to emotion. You become the kind of person who keeps promises to themselves. That kind of self-respect, that's priceless. That's how confidence grows. Not from external praise, but from knowing. You showed up when no one would have blamed you for quitting. So when that feeling comes, the one that says, not today, I just skipped this one, you deserve a break. That's your moment. That's the defining fork in the road. You can take the easy route, or you can rise. You can do what 99% of people do, or you can do what the greats do. They lace up, they get up, they move forward. Not because they feel like it, but because they made a decision, a commitment. A vow to show up regardless. That's how you separate yourself. That's how you go from average to elite. By refusing to let how you feel today sabotage where you're going tomorrow. So if you're tired, good. That means you've been working. If you're unmotivated, fine. That's natural. But don't stop. Don't starve. Don't wait for the perfect mood. Do it anyway. Let your actions lead your emotions, not the other way around. Because the life you want is not built by feelings. It's built by daily disciplined action, especially on the days you feel like doing nothing at all. At all. Sometimes the people closest to you won't see the vision. They won't understand why you're working so hard, why you're sacrificing comfort, sleep, parties, and easy pleasure. They'll ask why you're doing all this, and when you try to explain, they still won't get it. That can hurt. That can make you question everything. But let me tell you something. You don't need their approval to chase your purpose. If they don't believe in it, do it anyway. People may laugh at you. They may doubt you. They may tell you it's impossible, that you're wasting your time. Not because they're evil, but because they can't see what you see. They haven't been given the dream you've been given. They haven't felt the fire in your chest when you think about your future. They haven't carried the weight of your calling. So stop waiting for their permission. Stop begging for validation. You don't need them to believe in it. You just need to believe in it yourself. When you walk this road, especially in the beginning, you might be walking alone. Don't fear that. Embrace it. Because the path to greatness is narrow, and most people won't choose it. Most people will settle. Most people will quit. Most people will play it safe. But you're different. You were built to endure. You were built to lead. You were built to do the work even when no one is clapping, no one is watching, and no one is cheering. That's where champions are forged. In the silence, in the doubt, in the resistance. In the moments when it's just you and the work, you and the grind, you and the vision. That's when your true character is revealed. Can you keep going when no one supports you? Can you hold your ground when they say you're crazy? Can you keep pushing when they call your dream unrealistic? That's when it counts the most. Don't be surprised if they don't get it at first. Don't take it personally. Often, it's not that they doubt you, they doubt themselves. Your grind reminds them of what they're not doing. Your discipline exposes their comfort. Your ambition threatens their complacency. So instead of facing their own fear, they try to plant them in you. But you don't have to accept those seeds. You don't have to water that doubt. You don't have to carry their fear. Let them talk. Let them joke. Let them whisper behind your back. You stay focused. You stay locked in. You stay true to your calling. Because one day, the very people who laugh will be the same ones asking how you did it. The same ones who doubted will be looking for your advice. The same ones who walked away will be trying to come back. But by then, you won't need their belief because you built it without them. And don't let loneliness fool you. Just because you feel alone doesn't mean you're on the wrong path. It usually means you're on the right one, because most won't have the courage to do what you're doing. Most will wait for the world to clap before they start. Most will quit when the crowd disappears. But not you. You move without the claps. You grind without the praise. You keep going without the cheering section. That's the mindset that wins. That's what separates the dreamers from the doers. You're not here to be understood. You're here to be legendary. You're not here to fit in. You're not here to fit in. You're here to rise. And sometimes to rise, you have to go through a season of being misunderstood. That's okay. Stay grounded. Keep building, keep working. Because when the results start showing, when the transformation is undeniable, when the success can no longer be ignored, they'll see. But even then, don't do it for them. Don't chase applause. Don't work for recognition. Work because this is who you are. Grind because this is what you were built for. Sacrifice because your future depends on it. If nobody ever claps, if nobody ever supports you, do it anyway. Because real ones don't wait for approval. They create impact with or without it. Keep showing up. Keep proving to yourself that you never needed their belief, just your own. There will be times when fear creeps in. Times when doubt screams louder than your dreams. Times when the goal feels too far, the climb feels too steep, and your progress feels invisible. That's when fear tries to paralyze you. It tells you you're not good enough, not ready, not capable. But here's the truth. Fear is not a stop sign. It's a signal. And when it shows up, you don't run. You do it anyway. Fear isn't always a sign to back off. Sometimes it's a sign you're right where you need to be, on the edge of something bigger, something greater. The people who achieve greatness aren't fearless. They just move in spite of the fear. They feel the same tight chest, the same pounding heart, the same trembling hand. But they act anyway. That's the difference. They don't let fear decide their future. They do. Every big move you want to make is guarded by fear. Every breakthrough you dream of is sitting behind a locked door labeled uncertainty. But the key to that door is action. Not comfort, not overthinking, not waiting for the fear to go away. The key is stepping forward even when the fear tries to hold you back. You can't shrink to grow. You can't hide and hope your dreams will chase you. You have to face the fear and walk through it. Fear wants you stuck. It wants you playing safe, staying quiet, never reaching. Because fear knows if you ever take that first step, if you ever start, you'll realize it had no real power over you. Just smoke and mirrors, just loud noise. But the moment you step forward, the volume drops. The lies fade, the fear weakens. Because courage isn't the absence of fear. It's the decision that something else matters more. Your dream, your mission, your future. That matters more. You've got to stop negotiating with fear. Stop giving it so much say. You were never meant to be ruled by it. Yes, it will come. Let it. But don't stop. Let fear ride in the back seat if it wants. But it doesn't get to drive. It doesn't get to decide your moves. It doesn't get to own your purpose. You were made for more than safety. You were built for growth, for purpose, for impact. And none of that lies inside your comfort zone. Think about what fear has already stolen from you. The times you didn't speak up, the opportunities you let pass, the ideas you never pursued, the doors you never opened. Now think about what happens if you keep letting fear run the show. Another year goes by, another dream dies, another version of you never gets to breathe. You don't want to live with that regret. You don't want to wake up 10 years from now wishing you had just acted. So act now. Do it anyway. Here's the truth. You're going to fail sometime. You're going to mess up. You're going to mess up. You're going to feel embarrassed. That's part of the process. But that fear of failure, it's not a real threat. It's just your brain trying to protect you from discomfort. But discomfort is the doorway to everything you want. You can't escape it. You have to embrace it. Because once you do, you realize that failure didn't break you. It built you. The people who win in life aren't the ones who never feared. They're the ones who keep moving with fear in their lungs and courage in their hearts. They fall and they rise again. They shake and they still show up. That's what makes them unstoppable. That's what makes them great. Not perfection, not confidence, but persistence in the face of fear. So the next time you feel fear rising, don't run. Don't freeze. Don't overthink. Lean into it. Let it remind you that you're growing, that you're stretching, that you're doing something meaningful, and then do the thing. Make the call. Take the step. Launch the idea. Speak the truth. Whatever the fear is trying to stop. And your future is too important to hand over to something that's temporary as a feeling. So feel the fear and move anyway. That's how you win. That's how you rise. That's how you become the person you were born to be. Everybody loves the highlight reel, the scoreboard, the follower count, the trophy in a glass case. But results don't belong to you. They never have. Yeah, the result is like the weather. You can hope, you can predict, but you can't control. What you can control is the work you put in while the world is still dark, the choices you make when nobody's watching, the attitude you carry when everything goes wrong. That's the process, and that's your lane. Nah, stay in it. Think about a farmer. He doesn't command the rain or the sun. He doesn't argue with the seasons. All he can do is till the ground, plant good seed, water faithfully, pull the weeds, and protect the crop. Day after day, same routine, same discipline. If he stares at the sky begging for the corn to pop out of the soil, he wastes time that could have been spent nurturing what he's planting. That's you with your goals. You keep watching the scale, the bank account, the analytics, waiting for something magical to appear. And every moment you spend obsessing over those numbers is a moment stolen from the grind that actually moves them. Detached from the scoreboard. Treat it like a speedometer on a long highway. Glance once in a while to make sure you're on course, then eyes back on the road. Because the road is where the hazards are. Distractions, setbacks, potholes of doubt. If you're glued to the dashboard, you'll miss the obstacle that pops up in front of you. And one little mistake can spin you into the ditch. Champions check the metrics, but they live in the mechanics. When you live in the mechanics, something powerful happens. Every single day gives you a win you can claim. Maybe you can't control whether you land that client today, but you can control whether you make the calls. Maybe you can't guarantee that your body looks photo ready by Friday, but you can guarantee that the workout gets done. The macros get measured, the water gets drunk. A process-focused life stacks victories so small they're almost invisible, yet they accumulate like compound interest until they erupt into overnight success. That explosion feels sudden to everybody else. To you, it feels inevitable because you earned it one microscopic decision at a time. Living in the process also frees you from the anxiety that comes with chasing outcomes. Anxiety grows in the gap between effort and expectation. When you say, I must hit 1 million followers this year, you just shackled your peace to a variable you can't fully manage. Algorithms, audience behavior, platform changes. When you say, I will publish valuable content every day for a year, you put the anchor back in your own hands. The pressure shifts from external validation to internal consistency. Anxiety loses its leverage because you no longer need the outside world to crown you. Your crown is the checklist you complete before sunrise. It doesn't mean you stop aiming high. Goals give direction. Process gives traction. You still set the destination pin on the map, but then you talk to your wheels, not the finish line. You ask, what can I rotate today? How do I keep moving? Some days the car hum, other days it sputters. Doesn't matter, you keep turning the key. Because if you only drive when the conditions are perfect, you'll run out of life before you run out of road. Process mindset also immunizes you against comparison. The minute you measure your worth by someone else's highlight, you forfeit the power you have over your own craft. But when your scoreboard is internal, did I follow the plan? Did I honor the routine? You can cheer for others without envy, because their win doesn't alter your assignment. Their harvest doesn't steal your rain. You stay humble, hungry, and unbothered. There will be seasons when the results flatline even though your effort skyrockets. That's the valley where most people quit. They planted, watered, and waited, but the ground looks barren, so they rip up the field and start over somewhere else. They blame the soil, the seed, the timing. They ignore the fact that root systems develop in silence. Your job in that valley is simple. Keep working the plan. Keep sending the emails that no one answers. Keep writing the paragraphs that nobody reads. Keep rehearsing the speech nobody's booked yet. The silence is not evidence of failure. It's proof that the soil is doing hidden work you don't get to supervise. Trust it. Sometimes the process demands adaptation. Sticking to the process doesn't mean stubbornly repeating broken tactics. It means obsessing over controllable questions. What did I learn from today's rep? How can I tighten the form, tweak the script, refine the pitch? You own the inputs, so you refine the inputs. You experiment, you measure, you adjust, but you never let the uncertainty of outcomes bully you into paralysis. Action beats analysis when analysis turns into avoidance. There will always be a reason not to start. You're tired. You don't feel ready. You don't have the resources. You're afraid of failing. You're waiting for the perfect moment. But here's what you need to understand. The perfect moment is a myth. If you wait until you feel 100%, until all the stars align, until there's no risk, you'll wait forever. Start where you are. Use what you have. Do what you can, but start. Every champion you admire started with less than they needed and more fear than they admitted. They didn't wait for guarantees. They didn't ask for permission. They didn't have the whole plan. They just moved. They stepped into uncertainty. They figured it out on the way. You think you need clarity before you take action. But the truth is, clarity comes after action. You learn by doing. You grow by going. The fog clears once you start walking, but it never clears while you sit still. Start before you're confident. Start before the money comes. Start before you feel worthy. Confidence isn't a requirement, it's a result. Every step you take builds belief. Every rep you do builds strength. You don't become great and then act. You act, and the greatness shows up along the way. It's a process of proving to yourself, one small action at a time, that you're capable, that you're committed, that you're not defined by hesitation. The idea in your mind, the dream on your heart, and it didn't land there by accident. You were entrusted with it, and your job isn't to hoard it or protect it. Your job is to build it. You don't need 1 million followers, a fancy setup, or a perfect script. You need a move. Post that video. Write that chapter. Make that call. Share that message. You're not here to play small. You're here to create, to build, to serve. But none of that happens until you start. Starting before you're ready is about courage. It's about faith. Faith in the unseen. Faith in the process. Faith in yourself even when the voices in your head say otherwise. Because fear will always shout, what if it doesn't work? But discipline whispers back, what if it does? And the only way to find out is to act, to give yourself a chance, to move your idea from imagination to execution. Don't be fooled by people who look polished. Everyone fumbles at the beginning. Everyone doubts. Everyone trips. But if you let that stop you, you'll never give yourself the opportunity to improve. The first version won't be perfect. That's the point. It's supposed to be messy. It's supposed to be awkward. You don't need to go viral. You need to go live. Get into the game. Let experience teach you what preparation never could. Progress doesn't come from staying still. Momentum is a product of movement. You take the first step, not the best step, not the final step, just a step, and then another. And soon enough, the path starts to make sense. But if you sit and analyze forever, you'll only become better at talking yourself out of it. And you don't need another excuse. You need execution. Start now. Not next week. Not when you have better gear. Not when you feel more inspired. The right time is now because now is all you ever really had. Tomorrow is a theory. Today is reality. What you do today is the only thing that shapes your future. Waiting won't make it easier. Starting is the only thing that makes it real. There's no such thing as a ready. That's a story we tell ourselves to feel safe. But greatness doesn't grow in safety. It grows in motion. It grows in vulnerability. You weren't born to be perfect. You were born to be persistent. And the moment you embrace that, the moment you realize that mistakes don't define you, you give yourself permission to live boldly. Let go of the outcome. Forget about who's watching. Forget about who might laugh. Forget about failing. You might fall short. You might stumble. But that's still better than being stuck. Regret is heavier than failure. At least failure gives you something to learn from. Regret gives you nothing but emptiness. So today, right now, take the leap. Hit publish. Press send. Walk into the meeting. Launch the idea. Make the call. Nobody ever changed the world by waiting. Nobody ever built a legacy from hesitation. The people who made it didn't have a special formula. They had a willingness to start when it felt impossible. You have everything you need inside you already. You don't need permission. You don't need perfect. You don't need ready. You just need to start. The rest will come. The skill will grow. The path will reveal itself. but none of it begins unless you do. So whatever it is you've been waiting on, stop before you're ready. The world is waiting for what only you can give.